Greetings and welcome to Growth Hacking Secrets. I'm your host, Mohammed Siddique from Atlanta, Georgia, and the co author of New Success Secrets available on Amazon. On this episode, we have a special guest, Jim Case. Jim is an author, show creator, host, speaker, and a coach at Science of Transformation. Please join me to give a warm welcome to our guest, Jim Case. Jim, welcome.
Good morning. Good morning.
Let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who were you surrounded with that inspired you to do what you do today?
Wow. So I left. Uh, I had the itch early in my life, and I left my parents' home when I was 16 years old, and that led me through a series of events. I thought originally that I wanted to be an actor, and I moved to New York and aspired to that. Found out that that wasn't my thing, but actually, while I was there, in that process, became very ill, and had the opportunity to move to Arizona, which I did. And in moving to Arizona, I discovered when I was in New York. At the end of New York, I went on what they call a brown rice diet. This was back in the early '90s, and I thought that I was looking really good. And what was actually true was I was wasting. I'd gone from my typical 165 pounds to 109 pounds, and so that began a very powerful healing journey for me that lasted for quite a number of years. But the work that I did with my mentor, and then she became my wife, and we opened a center in Arizona, a natural healing center where people came with everything from cancer and lupus and AIDS to all kinds of different diseases that we worked with them naturally and with allopathic medicine. And so that all evolved. That was really the foundation of what's led me to where I am today. Because the work that I did in the healing process took me through quite a ton of changes, but then that continued to evolve. And then I dealt with cancer in 2009, and that process was the next level. And so that led me to really all the things I'm doing now that led to my message about changing your relationship with fear.
Mm, wonderful, Jim. What a transformation from mentee to a husband. Oh my God, look at this.
Well, it was a powerful relationship, and it was challenging because she was amazing at keeping the focus on the transformation and keeping the focus on moving forward. So we still have an amazing relationship. We've been divorced for over 10 years, and she's still probably my best friend. Um, and there came a point with the relationship where it was time for me to spread my wings, and to step into my own, and I'm forever grateful for that.
What are the top three mistakes to avoid?
Top three things for me, I found not taking time to understand who I am in relation to the thing I want to do, so that I'm not just doing things because you said it's a good thing or somebody else said it's a good thing or the book said it's a good thing. I want to know from here that I'm connected to that thing. So making that connection, not similar to, but not knowing myself, so that everything was driven by fear and insecurity. So because I didn't take time to build that relationship with my environment in the world, I was in fear and insecurity, and that's very diminishing, and limits potential tremendously. And then I live by a concept that I call energy up and energy down, and learning that when something spins my energy up, step in. When something spins my energy down, step back. And that was the biggest things for me, I think.
What is your greatest failure story? What did you learn and how did you recover from it?
Oh, so when I moved to New York, I really had this huge dream of becoming an actor. That was my dream in life. That was what I thought everything was moving toward. And once I got there and started getting into the field and started getting into it, I realized that I didn't have the skin for it. Being as young as I was, as arrogant as I was as a young person, I wasn't suited for it. And so there came a point after about a year and a half when I finally, because I'd moved to New York, and I was actually living in the studio of my acting coach. And I had a separate place, but I was deeply involved and really trying hard to go there. But in the end, it was cataclysmic because I didn't have any of the skills. I mean, I could sing and I could act, but I didn't have the emotional skill set to deal with any of it. So what I ended up learning from that was a huge lesson in surrender, because the end of that segment of my life came when I realized I wasn't going to stay in New York, but I had no idea what I was going to do with my life. And I sat down one night and wrote I call it's a Dear God letter. I was like, God, my life sucks. Blah, blah. My life is no good. I don't know what to do. But then finally at the end of the letter, I said, you know what? I'm giving my life to you. I don't care what you do with me or where you send me, but please do something, because I can't live like this anymore. And within 24 hours, I received the phone call that took me to Arizona. And that was the gateway to the foundation for everything that I have today. It's extraordinary.
What are your top 3 success secrets that others can model from?
My top 3, first is a daily practice. First and foremost is having something that aligns you to you, aligns you or to your God or to your connected, whatever it is, a daily practice that gets you centered completely in yourself, so that when you step into the world, you are completely focused in your power, in who you are, and not in some concept or kind of all over the place energetically. The second piece I described already as well is the energy up, energy down. It's a very simple practice, but it's very powerful, and it builds trust in your instinct. It builds trust in your intuition. It builds trust in your connection, because if you trust in the energy up, energy down thing, you don't judge it. You simply, is this causing my energy to move up? Great, I'm stepping in. If it's not, I'm stepping back. And the reason I'm stepping back is because I don't know enough. I need more information, or I need to learn more before I can do whatever it is I think I want to do. And that energy up, energy down helps us to do that in a way that supports the entire picture, not just what you're thinking in your brain. And then the third piece for me ties to the same thing, but it's about finding your rhythm. You can do whatever you want in the world, and you can create whatever you want in the world. But if you do it through somebody else's version, you're never going to feel satisfied. So find your rhythm within that thing, whatever that thing is. Figure out what your rhythm is in it, because that's how you'll be successful with it.
We are about to move into lightning round. That means quick question and quick answer. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
What are you grateful for today?
I am grateful today for another opportunity to explore my potential.
How
That's what
young
I'm
are
grateful
you?
for today. I'm 56 years old, young.
Jamie, you are not 56. You are 18 years old with 38 years experience.
Yes, I agree.
What you want to do when you grow up?
Oh, I want to continue to create awareness for people to change their relationship with fear, honestly, because it has been such a profound experience and continues to be, and it's so life altering that it is the one place I think that people can make quantum shift easily.
How do you overcome a challenge life throws at you?
Well, for me, the first is I breathe. That's the first thing I've learned to do, is breathe, to bring space to it, and to be with it without resistance, and to try to get quiet if I can. If not, if the time isn't there for that, I trust the work I've done to support me in walking through it. So there comes a point where the work that you're doing has to show up in a way that changes your life. And so there's a point where you have to just trust that you've done the work. Because you've done the work, you're going to take the steps you need to solve it in the way that serves the situation and yourself in the highest possible way.
How do you start your day?
Quietly. I start my day typically in quiet, and then usually into meditation, or I do a long walk. Either case is all about just getting my body moving, getting my spine activated, getting my my system moving and getting centered into me as I go about my day.
What is the advice you will give to younger yourself?
Release resistance. Release your resistance. As a young person, I was constantly struggling with feeling good enough, feeling enough. And that caused a lot of resistance and a lot of arrogance. So for me, it was just breathe, brother. Breathe and release the resistance. Stop fighting.
Once you have a revenue generating idea, how do you convince your significant other?
Well, this goes back to energy up, energy down. So I have the conversation with my spouse. We talk about the details. We go through the minutia of that, and we see where we feel. Does it feel like it's causing us to get excited, or is it feeling like meh? Because my support system is a good one, and I trust the feedback that if there's an energy down situation, let's figure out what that is. Maybe it's something that's easily correctable. Maybe it's something that's not. Maybe it's a flaw in my thought process. So it's really about that open communication and being willing on my part to recognize that it may not be the best option. There may be a better option. Or conversely, standing in my truth when I know it's the best option and supporting that in the conversation. And it's been quite successful for us.
What is the impactful business book you have read, and what did you learn from it? Can I see the cover, please?
Yes. Actually, interestingly enough, business book, my business. My first is called I Come as a Brother, and it's by Bartholomew. And it is, for me, it was a foundational experience and understanding that I was more than I was paying attention to. I am more than I give myself credit for. And that was, I was talking about that self-esteem issue earlier. It helped me to step into a greater version of myself, a little trepidatious at first, but each step took it further. And so that book was profound in laying that foundation of me tapping into that.
I understand that you have another book which you have really.
I do. This is an extraordinary book a friend of mine shared with me. It's called The Impersonal Life. And this book takes what I did as Come as a Brother, what that did for me in opening me up. And The Impersonal Life takes it to a much deeper spiritual level in that it's all about the observer. So if you're into meditation at all, you understand that in meditation, there's a place that you come to called the observer. And as a part of growth and evolution, that observer becomes a profound impact for me in my life. And so The Impersonal Life has helped me with that, understanding that a little more deeply and connecting more deeply to that observer space.
And I understand that you are author yourself. Can I see your own book? Why someone should read it?
Yes.
What's the advantage they will get out of it?
So Fear is a Choice, Unraveling the Illusion of Our Separation from Love is a powerful book. And I say that because the book is about changing your relationship with fear. And to me, that is the core of transformation in the human experience, is changing your relationship with fear. When we live in a space of fear, when we live in a fear consciousness, in my world, we dumb down our experience, we dumb down our light. And so releasing that, opening to a different relationship with fear that is not about being contracting, you open up to greater potential and opportunity in your own world. And I think that's the greatest thing that could happen to anybody.
Why being impactful is important to you?
Because I enjoy uplifting people in any form that I can do that in. We hosted a small gathering last night in my home, which is something I love doing because I love seeing people enjoy. So the more I can support that, the more that I can be impactful in that way and helping people change their relationship with fear, the more happy people there are in the world, the more change that takes place in that direction. So that's really why it's important to me.
Who is your living mentor and what's the impact?
I mentioned her earlier. That was my ex-wife. Is my living mentor. She's actually coming close to the end of her experience on this planet, and the impact has been. I don't even know that I could quantify it because who I was 10 years ago, 20 years ago is vastly different in the sense that I'm freer, I'm more connected. I feel this thing called life in such a profound way, and my joy in that experience is unparalleled to where I started my journey. So that's really the impact that she's had.
What do you want to be remembered for?
Uplifting people, ultimately.
Who is your ideal client?
My ideal client is anyone who is looking to change their relationship with fear, anyone who's ready to transform their experience. I've worked with people from 16-year-old young people to 75-year-old people and everywhere in between, in every religious group, because fear is universal and fear is transformable by anyone, regardless of whether you're spiritual, religious, non-religious, non-spiritual. It doesn't matter.
How can we support you?
You just did. fearisachoicebook.com. Yes. And I appreciate the support of the book. If you go to fearisachoicebook.com, amazing site. There's testimonials. There's links to the book you can order directly, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, IndieBound, Audible. And there's also videos and things there that you can learn more about it.
We are about to wrap up. I'd like to have your few words about your today's guest experience on the show. Here is my question. What would you say about your today's guest experience on the show?
It's been fantastic. I think that you and your team have been very supportive of making sure that we're prepared and making sure that the process flows seamlessly. And it's been a very good experience. Thank you.
What would you say as a final word?
Find your joy. Whatever you do, find your joy. And that's ultimately what this is all about. Changing fear is about finding your joy.
Thank you so much, Jim, for sharing your wisdom with us today. On the behalf of Growth Hacking Secrets community and our entire team, we really appreciate you. This is Mohammed Siddique signing off from Atlanta, Georgia. Until the next episode, all good wishes.
Thank you.